The three-day visit of U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan covered the entire list of issues between Beijing and Washington. It took place amid worsening relations between the two countries due to China's support for Russia and trade disputes. Earlier, we recall the U.S. imposed sanctions against almost half 8,000 individuals and companies, including Chinese firms that support the Kremlin's military machine. The meeting between Jake Sullivan and the head of Chinese diplomacy, Wang Yi, took place through the so-called strategic channel, which was organized in May 2023 to support communication and create the basis for future negotiations at a higher level. This time, China and the U.S. focused on implementing the agreements reached at the summit in San Francisco in November 2023.
President Biden has been clear that he is committed to managing this important relationship responsibly. The United States has and will continue to advance its interests and values, look out for its friends. And as we do, we believe that competition with China does not have to lead to conflict or confrontation. The key is responsible management through diplomacy.
Experts believe that no major shift in relations between the two countries should be expected after the visit. The main thing they are paying attention to is the preparation for a telephone conversation between Biden and Xi Jinping, which should take place in the coming weeks. According to analysts, the Biden administration wants to maintain smooth relations with China until the end of his term.
Of course, we did not expect any global results or agreements between the two countries, and especially considering the complicated relations between the United States and China, we certainly did not expect any breakthrough decisions. But in the Biden administration and even in the Xi Jinping administration, there is such a mood that relations between the two countries do not go beyond the framework of peaceful coexistence.
Taking advantage of this calm in American-Chinese relations, Beijing is trying to advance its interests. The country wants to continue trading with the world, but at the same time maintain economic cooperation with Moscow. China, we recall, continues to supply Russia with dual-use goods and buys Russian oil in huge volumes. The issue of the Pacific region, where Beijing also has its own interests, was also raised in the talks.
The situation in the Pacific Ocean region and the global security from Beijing's point of view is in a state of chaos. Respectively, China can receive certain dividends from the weakening of the West as it sees it. Therefore, of course, they will not promise anything, especially in the situation of Russia's war against Ukraine. China is interested in maintaining this process of decreasing of the resource assets of both the West and Russia. Russia is thus becoming closer to China, and the West is weakening and becoming more negotiable.
During the meeting, its parties also discussed Russia's war against Ukraine. But according to Jake Sullivan, no agreement was reached. Beijing is promoting a so-called peace plan developed jointly with Brazil, which proposes to freeze military actions on the existing front line. Following the meeting, Sullivan recalled that Washington adheres to the principle of nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.